Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anthony Herring from Coon Orchards. I'm Sydney's husband, and I'm the production manager here at Coons, and been here for quite a while. Been in the business for 20 years, and Sydney and I decided that maybe it was time maybe to show you all how we go about harvesting fruit. Apple season's finally upon us, and Gala are getting started, so we figured this would be a good spot for everyone to see. So as you can see behind me, we have Fulford Gala here on the trees. A very good crop this year. You can see they're starting to get ready for harvest. And I thought we'd show you how we decide and determine when we pick and what time we pick and which fruits we do pick. As you can see, there's very red apples on the tree, and there's very green apples on the tree. So there's a series of picks of harvests that we do. They're not all harvested at one time. The main thing is to find out when we decide to pick. If you look around here a little bit, and you can see the ground underneath the trees, that there's fruit on the ground, and all that is thin fruit that is left over from thinning. You see we leave the trees, most all apples are singles, so we get a cluster of 5 flowers in a bunch, and what we've tried to do out of those 5 flowers is get the king bloom from the flowers to make us the fruit. That's typically the largest fruit that is on the tree. So these are all singled out down through, and you can see that they're all large, big, nice, pretty Gala. So, and it's getting time to pick, so we decided we would show you how we go about deciding which ones are ready. So some of it is by the eye. You can look and see, okay, this one I want to pick because it's nice and red. And we'll take a look at that, and we'll starch it. And this one's a little pale yet, so it's not quite as ripe. Down through here, these are all a little bit pale, so they're getting close, but not quite there yet. But this will give us a pretty good idea of what we need to do. So here we have Gala that has a very good background color. You can see that it's not green, it's yellow. And this one here's got a nice background color as well. So we got the nice red cheek and the nice yellow background. This one, it looks does not have the red to it as much as the others. However, if you see, the skin is very yellow as well. It has a green hue, but it may very well be ready to eat. We'll check it when we get to the truck. And just to show everyone the difference in what we're doing, by picking green fruit, these are green and not very desirable because they're not red. So we'll starch them and just see what they're at as far as maturity levels. Okay, so we have fruit back here at the truck, and we're going to cut some of these. This is a very simple process. I've cut some previously, and I'll explain that as we do this. But in order to show you that it's not always just on red color, yellow color as well, you can see that these apples are ginger gold, and that they have they're a yellow apple, not a red apple. Just because the color is off, if these are green and this is yellow, doesn't necessarily mean that that's not ready. We'll decide that once we cut them open and take a look inside. So basically the process is we have a simple iodine solution. And what that iodine does is that when you spray it onto the meat of the apple, you can see the starches and the sugars. Starches will be in black and sugars will be yellow or white. So let's go ahead and cut these. Also, one of the ways you can tell an apple that is soon ready to be harvested is the seeds will brown and blacken and harden, and they're getting pretty dry. You can see that they're browned and they're loose inside the apple. So we'll take the iodine, and you only want to spray a half of an apple. You don't need to see both sides. It's the same apple. So we'll go ahead and spray that. These two here are the greenest apples that we picked and harvested, just as an example to show you what we don't want to do. Okay, and then these apples over here were the ones that had more red. If you look at that there, you can see that they are starting to break and have sugar inside. This apple would not be very desirable to eat. This one would be okay. This one certainly would be the apple that you'd want to eat. It has a lot of sugar broken throughout. These here I starched prior to our video, and you can see that this apple is ready for consumption. It has very, very little starch in it, so it's basically all sugar. And if you see the overall appearance of this apple prior to cutting, it was a beautiful red Gala. These here are also nice and red, however they're not quite as desirable as far as flavor as this one would be. These three apples, and you can see also that the size does make a difference. The bigger the apple, the better ripeness it has. These apples here, these three are a little smaller and they're a little bit greener. As the starch dries on here, you can really see the difference in this is all starch, and this white around here coming out throughout the apple is sugar, and this is sugar. So I'll cut some ginger gold because we've been picking ginger gold.
So we'll be harvesting the Gala soon because it's getting close to being ready.
Right. Here, these are ginger gold, and in previous newsletters, I believe Katie has told you all about water core, and what we're talking about water core is right there. That is water coring. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the apple. That just means there's a fair amount of sugar locked up in those right there that have lots of water in them. So those are the three greenest apples, or three
ripest.
yellowest apples, and these are going to be the three greenest apples from ginger gold. Go ahead and give them a spray. And as you can see, as I said before, the greener apples doesn't necessarily mean...
You didn't spray the greener apples.
Oh, it didn't spray the greener apples, damn it. So you can see now that the greener apples, they definitely are certainly not as desirable as the ones that were more yellow. You can see the sugar in the ginger gold here, and these greener apples have a lot of starch and very little sugar. It's all in. You can see the yellower apples have a lot more sugar in them than the greener apples do. So it does depend on the color of the fruit as well. You can see those yellow ginger gold are much more desirable fruit to eat. And here, these are the Gala that we harvested and cut, and you can see that they have a lot of starch in the greener apples, and that the redder apples have a lot more flavor and sugar. Okay, so now we showed you all the differences in the fruit with starch and sugars through the iodine. So I thought it would just give you a little idea of what's going to happen now. Is next week we'll probably start coming through and picking Gala, and how we'll do that is we'll come through and we'll pick the biggest, largest, reddest, prettiest fruit that we can get off of that tree. We'll pick the bottoms first, and then we'll pick the tops, and we'll get as many apples off of there as we can that are ripe and ready. And probably we'll continue that for 3 to 4 more times of spot picking the fruit. In other words, just taking off what we want to sell, what's more desirable for everyone to eat. As you can see, there's plenty there, and they'll soon be at market. So look forward to having Gala next week, and I will talk to you at another time. Thank you.